Hi, I'm Clayton Boone with World Investment Advisors, and welcome back to the channel. If you're over the age of 59 and a half and you've accumulated $500,000 or more in your retirement plan, you've really entered a different phase of the game. And at this point, it's no longer just about trying to save more. It's about control, tax planning, distribution flexibility, and really making sure your retirement plan is working as efficiently as possible. Because what many people don't realize is that once you reach 59 and a half, new planning opportunities start to open up, even if you're still working. So today, I want to walk you through what we call the 59 and a half optimization waterfall. And the first step in this is understanding what your retirement plan allows you to do once you reach this milestone. Because once you do reach 59 and a half, many employer retirement plans allow for what's called an in-service rollover. And what that means is you may be able to roll a portion or all of your employer retirement plan into an IRA while continuing to contribute to the plan. Now, not all plans allow this and the rules can vary, but if your plan does, it creates some additional optionality. And with this optionality, you may gain an exposure to an expanded investment lineup, you have additional tax planning flexibility, you also get better control over distribution sequencing, and there's opportunities to consolidate your accounts. But I want to caution you, the first move isn't shifting money. There's some things you'll want to do first, but we're going to come back to this in just a moment. Okay, so what do we do? Well, let's take a look at your contribution strategy and future tax exposure. At $500,000 or more, required minimum distributions are no longer theoretical, they're math. And if you continue to maximize pre-tax contributions without a strategy, you may be building a future tax burden. So, this is where we start to evaluate the balance between traditional and Roth contributions. We look at potential partial Roth conversions. We look at your tax bracket, and we even consider state tax considerations depending on where you plan to live. The goal here isn't to avoid taxes entirely. It's to control when and how you pay them. So the next thing we're going to look at is your asset location. Because at this stage, asset allocation still matters, but so does asset location. And so what we're looking at here is whether or not bonds are going to be positioned inside tax deferred accounts, whether you've got higher growth assets allocated to Roth dollars if available, and whether there's unnecessary duplication across accounts. And finally, we're also going to look to see if you become unintentionally concentrated in employer stock or something else. While diversification does not guarantee a profit, nor does it prevent a loss, concentration risk does, however, increase exposure to volatility. And at this level, small inefficiencies don't just stay small, they start to compound. Next, I want to look at distribution planning. And some of you may be saying, I'm 59 and a half, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. Well, guess what? One of the biggest mistakes we see is waiting until retirement to start to think about how you're going to distribute the money. Because by 59 and a half, you should have already been modeling out your Social Security timing, taking a look at some pension decisions if you need to make them, looking at withdrawal sequencing, talking about your Medicare premiums, as well as taking a look at future required minimum distributions and what those might be. Because retirement planning isn't always just about accumulation. There's a lot of orchestration here, because where your withdrawals come from and when you take them can materially impact your long-term retirement outcomes. So once we do all that, that's when we evaluate whether your employer-sponsored retirement plan is still the right container for all of your retirement assets. Because for some investors, staying entirely in the employer plan makes a lot of sense. While for others, in-service rollovers can provide for more flexible withdrawal strategies, can give you access to a broader investment selection, which can also make it a lot easier to tailor a portfolio to your specific needs. Now, this decision should be made carefully, and it should take into account fees, investment options, creditor protections, and your overall financial situation. There, of course, isn't a universal answer here. There's only what really aligns with what your specific goals are. So when you step back and you look at this, 59 and a half becomes a strategic inflection point. And before this age, however, you're probably used to the fact that your retirement assets were largely locked up. But after 59 and a half, you have some flexibility. And with that flexibility comes some planning opportunities. And what we see is that households that sit down and look at this could experience very different retirement outcomes than those who simply just stay on autopilot. So if you are 59 and a half or older and you have $500,000 or more in your retirement plan, we do offer a complimentary retirement structure review. And in this review, We're going to evaluate whether your plan allows for an in-service distribution. We'll take a look at your contribution strategy. We'll talk about your tax exposure and future RMDs. We'll also look at your asset allocation and your asset location strategy, and we'll talk about some distribution planning opportunities. You can simply schedule a meeting with us using the link on the screen or the QR code, and we're happy to sit down and talk with you. If you found this helpful and you like this type of content, subscribe to our channel, give the video a like, and come back and see us.